And Mr. Chairman, I also have a unanimous consent request to enter into the record statements from the following organizations that have concerns about the conflation of crime and immigration: Asian Pacific Institute on Gender-Based Violence, Assista Immigration Assistance, Church World Service, Detention Watch Network, Esperanza United, National Network to End Domestic Violence, Tahiri Justice Center, and Valor U.S.
Without objection. Ms. Jackson Lee.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Whether I agree with all of you or none of you, let me express my appreciation for your presence here today. With a little level of seniority, I have been through this for 28 years on this committee and actually worked on any number of comprehensive immigration reform initiatives that just couldn't find common ground. We're now at a point where common ground couldn't be found with a microscope. It was far closer to common ground on this issue in 2008, 2010, with Senator McClain and the Gang of Eight. I wish America had taken up that opportunity. Because if we look at our history, this is a land of immigrants and a land of laws. All of us came here. Mine was dastardly. Others struggle and die coming. And others migrated, immigrated, fleeing famine and persecution. And so we all have come here strangers other than our friends who are Native Americans. It gives me pause when people want to demonize immigrants, migrants, and they want the same opportunities all of us do. Unlike my friend, Mr. Rosenberg, I am going to offer sympathy and sorry that the laws did not, I believe, fittingly respond to your pain and to your loss. We need to realize that any form of crime is addressed appropriately for the level of crime that it is. But I do want to say that witnesses who offer themselves before us do not need to be battered, do not need to be challenged for the distinctiveness of their views. They need to be probed. So let me first of all quickly say that statistics have shown that the end of Title 42, or the thought was by Republicans, that it results in a flood of migrants. But border numbers have fallen over 70% of migrants in the past few months. It also finds that trust cities, that both property and violent crime decrease more in those counties than in non-trust counties after 2014. In fact, they found that on average there are 35.5 fewer crimes per 10,000 people in these, in quotes, trust counties. Reinforcing this, the effect is even more pronounced in large urban areas which have been condemned by my Republican friends. I happen to live in a city that is enormously diverse, and that is Houston, Texas, and we are proudly so. Houston has more than 26% of our Houston metro area GDP is contributed to by immigrants. $5 billion to Social Security and $1.4 billion to Medicare. And immigrants make up over 30% of the employed labor force. They fill labor shortages in the Houston market. And yes, if you've done the crime, I want ICE to be able to do its job. I see nothing that has prevented them from doing so. The poverty levels are not as high in trust counties. So let me ask Sheriff Batiste, I think if I've gotten your title right, forgive me, because I appreciate you coming here. Is the title right, Sheriff? Chief, excuse me. Let me ask you, if I might. We have sheriffs and chiefs in Texas. I know you do as well. Let me ask you this. First of all, we have accusatory commentary of Soros DAs. Let us not put an individual that is not here, a contributing American, and jeopardize his life for always throwing his name out in the most ugliest way. I am offended by that. Mr. Soros does not deserve that. He is an American and a patriot, and he also comes from a minority community, one might say, and you create a dangerous situation. That's unfortunate. But, Chief, how should the federal government help support these jurisdictions while also ensuring that immigration laws are enforced? When I say these jurisdictions, I'm suggesting jurisdictions who may be more prone for immigrants, in some instances migrants. How can we work with you better? Chief?
Chairman McClintock, Ms. Jackson Lee, thank you for the question. I would say that the division of labor, the fact that the federal government is charged with the responsibilities of federal immigration, should continue to be that way. We can work alongside federal immigration in situations where we're dealing with violent felons, certainly for the safety of our nation and our community. But the work of ensuring public safety in our neighborhoods and our cities day to day, that is our responsibility. And we can't be drawn into the daily issues of low-level immigration cases where we are more responsible to the primary public safety needs of our communities. The work of federal immigration and immigration enforcement lies with them, and it should stay with them.
If you build trust in your community with citizen, non-citizen, migrant, non-migrant, immigrant, non-immigrant, can you help solve crimes? Can your community be safer if people are willing to come and tell you where the criminal is?
Without a doubt, ma'am.
And that's how crime goes down.
Absolutely.
I yield back.
Thank you. Mr. Dales.